Good to go.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. We normally start right off with the pledge of allegiance. Anybody that would like to go in, you do so? What is it? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Well, a little housekeeping is in order first. We need to elect a chairperson, which. Yeah, I'll do it again. We need a motion.
I make a motion that Steve Swint, the chairman.
I second it. Seconded. Justin, any comments? All those in favor? And another point of order is where there's only four of us, we all have to vote tonight. Typically, the chairman doesn't vote. You need four votes for anything.
It's one of those where, you know, to eat broke, you know, fishing.
So we start off with the public hearing. And I do tend to run through things fairly quick. If I get going too fast, tell me to slow down. I want everybody to have a chance to talk. If you start repeating yourself, I might cut you off, but it looks like we've got all proponents here tonight. I don't see anybody that looks like they're gonna oppose it. So we'll start right off with you, Scott. Public hearing will begin with the application for appeal submitted by the owner of Scott Williams, 113 West Street, map 28, lot 25. For a denied building permit for a new structure that does not meet the setbacks. So Scott, tell us what you want to tell us.
Well, basically, it's an existing building, it's a dirt floor, and I can't put nothing in it, I can't store nothing in it. It doesn't meet setback, and it's been there, I've been there 25 years, it's been there longer than that. I just want to put a new building there and replace what I got and 8 feet longer. That's it in a nutshell.
Same spot, 8 feet long.
Same spot, 8 feet longer. My house doesn't meet setback on either side of it.
Is typical with a lot of. When it's bad.
80 years ago, they didn't even have that,
Yeah.
Now, I understand what the setback's all about, but it doesn't work in this case, really, it doesn't. If I move my house, if I move the building behind my house, it doesn't do anybody any good, you know what I mean? It doesn't benefit the town, it doesn't benefit me, it doesn't benefit my neighbor, it really doesn't. I just kind of like to put a decent building back where there's been one for, seems like forever.
That should say that during the public hearing portion, I normally just let you guys do the talking. We don't ask questions until we actually bring it up. Later on in the meeting, so really, it's just when you're saying what's on your mind.
Well, that's it right there.
You're happy, okay? Any more proponents? Any opponents? None, okay, I'll close the public hearing, let's go. Next on the agenda is application for appeal submitted by the owner, Eddie Miller, of 114 Manson Street.
Should be 134.
134 Manson Street. Map 25, lot 38, for a denied building permit for a new structure that does not meet the setbacks. Ed, Andy?
Same thing, I don't have a dirt floor, but I've got a leaning building towards the house. It's been there, we've been there 37 years. It's been there longer than that. And I would like to tear it down and rebuild another one. Again, it doesn't meet the setbacks, but I want to make it longer and wider, and my longer and wider is going to go into my yard, not closer to the boundary. Back into my yard and closer to my house.
Anything else?
Oh,
No more proponents, any opponents? None, all right, I'll close the public hearing. Next on the agenda is application for appeals submitted by the owner, Caleb Willett, of 113 Lancy Street, map 23 lot 7, for a denied building permit for a new structure that does not meet the setbacks. Taylor?
Well, there was a garage there before, and it was actually, that was netted, the setbacks, and therefore I'm trying to rebuild what was there, the new concrete slab, of the dirt floor that it had before. And, it's 15 feet off the side property line of the neighbor, and it's 15 or 14 feet off the back. So the other one, I believe, was 12 before. So we're trying to get it a little bit farther away from the property line. We can't. It does not meet the setbacks, obviously, but yes, we're just trying to replace what was there before. Not sure. That's it.
Any more proponents? Any opponents? I'll close the public hearing on that matter. Old business, we have none, however, we should have some minutes from our last meeting and we don't.
Yes, those will get continued on.
Okay?
Yeah, so we just didn't get around to the video and everything and going through all that, but those will get adopted with these minutes from this meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, they're probably in the icon too.
Yeah, the video exists,
Yeah.
but we will get the minutes.
Well, that was, okay, so that's it for old business.
Yeah.
New business, I was gonna bring up that we didn't have minutes from our last meeting.
Yeah.
To adopt.
Yeah.
I would also ask that we, start making available to our applicants that are asking for a variance, the 4 requirements that must be met.
Okay,
I think if they had that up front, it would, answer a few questions and, let them know just where we're headed here.
okay.
Anybody else have any more new business? All right then. At this point, we move on to the actual appeal where we'll discuss it. We'll ask you questions. Either grant or deny the variance. Let's see, Arts of Scots. You have to meet 4 requirements in order for us to grant a variance. There's, did you make the copies of those? Russ?
Yes, those are over there as well. He just grabbed one.
Okay, I'll read them. In order for us to grant a variance for setbacks, we have to do the undue hardship test. There's 4 things here that have to be voted upon, all in the affirmative, meaning that if any of them you don't think apply, then you don't get the variance. So are you guys all familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'll read them out loud and then we'll go back and review them all. The first one is the land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted. The second is the need for a variance is due to the unique circumstances of the property and not to the general conditions in the neighborhood. The third is the granting of a variance will not alter the essential character of the locality. And D, the hardship is not the result of action taken by the applicant or a prior owner. So we'll go right back to A. And this is up for discussion. Will the land in question not yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted? I'm open for discussion.
You see return, what exactly does it mean? I mean,
Well, I guess I would say that must have to do with resale or,
Oh, yeah.
you know, down the road. Is it gonna affect the?
They let you go the price of the property later on, you say, well, property, right? A reasonable return. Should help the property really, I guess.
Do we need to go, well, we need to, I guess. Vote on each one.
Yeah, you have to vote on it.
Yes, so. don't need to necessarily make a motion, do we? For this part of it.
I don't think this
Yeah.
one.
We need to make a motion when we come down to
Right.
granting or denying.
Yeah, deny it, yes.
Okay. The land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted. Justin, any comments?
Well, I mean. It probably wouldn't realistically, I mean, it's fairly small structures, fairly small house. Obviously, the best way to stay within everything would be replaced with something the exact size, but that's not this particular question. I don't know what property owner is gonna do, but it's a pretty, I mean, it's a small house, I mean, there needs to be something extra involved, you know, even for one person, you have someplace to put their stuff. That's what I would say.
Okay, Dave?
Well, I think you've done an improvement, I mean, but, shed's 30 years old or more, I'm sure it's not worth trying to rebuild it or anything. So, you almost have to think about putting something a little more aesthetic, to the property and everything, it's to a point where you can't fix an old building, something like it. I think it actually improve the look. On one end.
I think the question is though, does it affect the reasonable return? The value? If the variance is granted. The land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted. The question in front of us is, are we affecting the value enough that it's going to make a difference?
Well, I don't think we would,
No.
if for some reason your old shed was there, the house was there, Scott wanted to sell it. It's still gonna be in that same situation, they go by and let you know, but. Any improvement, especially, in town.
I guess we are really handcuffed. And I think you guys are all getting the gist of where this is going. We need to vote on, we don't need to vote on them all if we vote against just one of these, it's over. Which is where we're headed, Scott. Our hands are tied, and I guess at this point, I would entertain a motion that we can vote on. That we don't find in the affirmative on the first requirement.
But no,
So one of you guys has to make a motion. That, well, what we're looking at is that we have to, in my opinion, we have to deny the variance. Based on the very first requirement, the undue hardship test. Somebody needs to make a motion. It doesn't count against you.
I don't necessarily agree with the direction it's going, so I won't,
Oh,
I won't be the
I don't like
one.
it either. But that's the way I feel. If these things were known ahead of time to applicants, you're getting your day in court, but you're not getting what you want, essentially. They make it so hard for us to do this that the good old boy system's gone out the door. So I'm looking for a motion, with either we accept or deny the,
Can I ask a question?
absolutely, Scott.
How can a brand new building that's 8 feet longer than my old building not improve my property?
It will. What this is asking, is it gonna stop you from getting a reasonable return? Which is not. Putting a new building on there is absolutely gonna help, but it doesn't follow this requirement. It's not gonna I know, it is.
I don't,
Putting a new building on is not gonna hurt your value, it's gonna help your value. But that's not what this is asking. Will it prevent you from getting a reasonable return? No, it won't.
Well,
well,
in my defense, I think I would probably have to tear this building down and sell the place. That's how deteriorated this building is. I'm surprised you haven't made me tear it down already. That's how deteriorated this place is. And I'm just saying, I guess, I don't want, I'm just saying, I don't know. I didn't think I was asking
Well,
for the world.
And
I
they
do
can
think
stick to
that
the
you
same
can-
footprint.
Yes, you can still build in the same footprint. Which is really, I mean, I gotta let everybody have you say, but it's really the direction this is headed, is that unless you wanna build in the same footprint. Or move the building entirely. That's the end of the story.
So I can put another building there as long as it's the same size.
Yep.
Not 8 feet longer going on my property or nothing.
Exactly.
Good enough.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to live with that.
Well, we're still hung up though. We got a little ahead of ourselves here, so.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
You're pulling that from the Southwest Harbor booklet, right? The one that's labeled Southwest Harbor.
That,
Why, and again, I don't know anything about this process really, I'm new, but why are we using a code book from Southwest Harbor when the lifestyle, the conditions, everything to do with Pittsfield is 180 degrees?
Well, no, but this particular piece is, I believe, word for word for what Pittsfield has.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good enough.
yeah,
Good
a
enough.
lot of what's in this book is examples and
Yep,
that kind of.
not trying to poke holes, just trying to understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, that does, it also goes into, if you want to approach a council and say, look, we gotta do something about these setbacks, you can try that, but that's a lengthy process. It's gotta go through, I believe comprehensive plan even before
Yeah.
it goes to planning board, which would then go to the town council. So, I mean, that's not gonna do anything tonight, essentially.
He can put the building, same footprints. But he's also got enough setbacks in back, so that doesn't apply. Not gonna apply. I mean, if he was only 10 feet from the back, and something, yeah, that'd be different. Yeah. All kinds of room back there, it's just gotta keep it the distance it is now. That, and actually, he's got room.
not, I don't believe the way the ordinance is wrote. You
Yeah.
can't expand upon an existing footprint. Doesn't matter what direction you go.
Needs to be changed.
A lot needs to be changed and updated, and we're slowly working on that. Updating codes and ordinances and things like that have been outdated for years. But it's still a process. We've been working with KV Cog. They've been helping us adopt new ordinances, change things. But it's not an overnight thing, we're dealing with so many different aspects of the codes to update.
All right, well, I want to get us back on track, so I think we all sense where this is all going, so let's keep it moving. Based on the undue hardship test, I think we need a motion from some board member about whether we deny or grant the appeal.
Because of the design of. Either way, though, so you gotta vote on that.
Yes. We have to vote on the appeal itself.
Yeah.
Are we gonna allow it, which we can't?
I know it.
So formality says that we need to vote on the motion. That would be worded somewhere in the effect that we need to deny this application for appeal based on the undue hardship test. Being that the land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted.
Well, it does need it, I would think, to make the property better, I guess. But I don't know, really.
even really just saleable. I mean, try living in a space that size, even if you're just one person. It almost makes it unsaleable not to have something in there and. You know, stuff, something anyway, and I really don't see 8 feet as being that big of a. That big of an extension, it's not hurting anybody. I mean, it doesn't. Uh, Right to continue with non-conforming use is not perpetual to easement to make use of one's property detrimental to his neighbors or forbid to them. Non-conforming uses will not be permitted to multiply when they are harmful or improper. This isn't harmful or improper. It doesn't change the view from the street. The only thing that's changing is this guy's view of this guy's yard. That's it.
That sloped down quite a bit there, Scott. And
Excuse me?
that sloped down a lot there.
Between Beverage's old house
Oh, yeah. I know.
on the corner.
Yeah.
Between me and him, well, my line is 7 feet to the edge of my building. Did you see my little map thing I drew?
Yeah.
Well, on the neighbor's side of that, there's like a 6-foot bank right there. We can get a truck down between my building and that bank between the neighbor's house.
Yeah.
And that's like a 6-foot bank and it drops off to a 3-foot bank, the rest of the continuation of the property back.
Right.
So that property line is 7 feet, the whole length, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of my property. To the edge of my shed, basically. And I live in a 500 square foot house and I'm just trying to come up with some storage on my land that's decent, you know what I mean? I got a dirt floor, you can't put nothing in the building I got. It's basically useless, I keep my lawnmowers and stuff in there and shovels, you know, you can't put nothing decent in there because it gets ruined. And all I'm asking for is to be able to replace my building with a little bit extra. But if I can't get and 8 feet is gonna kill this town or kill I don't know what, I'm just saying, I can settle with just being able to replace it. But I really could use whatever extra I can get. I'm not coming building it's not gonna be a built building, it's a portable structure. It's gonna be we're gonna haul it in on a trailer. It's a Hillview mini barn trail, you know, a building. There's no concrete involved. Gravel pad. It's gonna sit on skids. Like I said, I'm not moving it any closer to the line. I got a 12-foot 6 building now. I'm looking at a 12-foot building going back in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With 8 feet longer on my land. That's all I'm asking for. Like I said, I really don't understand that question. I really don't get the purpose of it. I don't understand it. It's gonna improve my property, it's gonna improve the visibility, the aesthetic of the neighborhood, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna look at I got a duck ticket in my shed door because it's sunk in the ground so far, you know what I mean? And it's bold, it's getting ready to fall in, believe it or not. That's all I get to say. I don't understand that first question. I don't know what they're looking for as far as information.
What is this saying in the book about structures that don't have a foundation, they're portable buildings. They're actually classified as portable buildings.
There's still technically, as we learned from the last appeal on Heartland Ave, it's still a structure, whether it's movable or not. And that guy was able to move it and get it in compliance. As the town attorneys and everything have advised, town attorneys are aware of these situations. And what they've told me is stick to the setbacks. Believe me, I get it. You guys pay taxes for this property. You should be able to use all of the property. I don't disagree with you, but the rules are the rules, and my hands were tied on what I can allow and what I can't allow. But whether it's still the structure that should have to meet the setbacks, whether I agree or disagree with it, I can't sign off on that. And that's why we're here tonight, you know, but yeah, things may change in the future. But I only can do what the town attorneys advise and what the code says.
Problem is with town, 30% of it doesn't have enough setbacks. And then there's sense of thought, most of them, are, you know.
Correct.
Not right.
Yeah. And that's what we're kind of running
And I
into
think
is,
A little ridiculous, some of these setbacks they put on a small lot. In these towns.
That's out of our hand.
Well, what's the next question? What the next question consist of?
The second B, the need for a variance is due to the unique circumstances of the property and not to the general conditions in the neighborhood.
That's probably true.
It's a small lot, a small neighborhood, but
I don't see where that really matters a whole heck of a lot. The third one is the granting of a variance will not alter the essential character of the locality.
No.
Hardship is not the result of action taken by the applicant or a prior owner, which that's not the case either. We're really hung up on the very first one. The land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted.
May I ask it?
Absolutely.
Because I'm struggling to understand the wording of that as well. Would another way to put that be to say that if you don't grant the variance and that causes us to not be able to, in the future, sell the property for a reasonable return, then that's a hardship? Is that what that's saying? I'm really stuck on reasonable return and what the definition of that is.
Isn't it? It's more of a real estate.
yeah, so it's more of a real estate thing. So it's saying pretty much you can rebuild the same footprint without this variance. But if you go bigger, yeah, it can add more value, but it's not going to affect you by sticking to the footprint that you're allowed to do. It's not going to create that kind of hardship where you're not going to be able to recoup. You're replacing a decrepit building with a newer one, so you're going to get your return off of that of the same footprint. Yeah.
so. And don't know, I didn't actually make a note of this while I was reading through, but I did notice that there is I don't know if I call it a statute, but whatever you want to call it, that says that yards, lawns are supposed to be in good condition, maintained well. There's supposed to be junk in the yard, there's certain rules and regulations to how you're supposed to keep your property within town. Without that shed, without something bigger, I mean, everything's getting bigger, lawnmowers are getting bigger, power tools, equipment, all that kind of stuff's getting bigger. We just had a big drought. You're gonna need to store seed to repair the lawn, all that kind of stuff's changing all the time. So I guess what I'm getting at is if you want people to be able to maintain their properties to the town code. And we live in a society where stuff's getting bigger, we're consuming more and more, they're gonna need more space. And it's not like he's trying to put up a superstructure here. I mean, you're talking a wall of weed whackers or something, a place to hang the hand tools. So I would say that I would call in question if you'd be able to house enough stuff to maintain your property in a space that size. I mean, you have a storage unit, don't you?
I do.
You got a bunch of
I
stuff.
get rid of it because it goes up by the minute.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you had a building with an extra 8 feet on it, wouldn't you be able to get rid of storage unit? Yeah,
Yes.
right.
And one last thing, I agree 110% with you. But then again, as it was described to me from the attorneys, is if you allow it for one, you have to allow it for all. And the setbacks are there for a reason, even though I don't always agree. But it's one of those things where, then say we allow these, which you guys do what you need to do. But then who's to say 5 more people don't come in next week that's how the way it was just broken down to me. But I just have to say what I've been told.
So I guess, we're hung up on the very first one about reasonable return. I try not to offer up too much opinion around the chair, so I'd really like a motion that we could then discuss.
I think any improvement is gonna help a lot. You realize there's a lot of these small lots in town.
Exactly, I see what he means by you give it the one.
Back in the
Give it
day,
without the bill, but, you know, under this, in this circumstance here, you really don't ask for a lot.
No, no. You got land behind it.
He's, yeah, I mean, he's not the setback behind it, it's the problem, but just
It's on the side, yeah.
on the side.
Yeah.
The building is the same width as the one that's on it, right?
Yeah, it's actually gonna be a little bit narrow.
The town accepted that years ago, I don't know, but, well, who knows,
They did.
we probably didn't, it just. It was done back then, it was just done, you know, or,
If you go through town, you see how many temporary buildings there are in town.
yeah, I
A
mean,
lot of them, then they act like it.
you actually gotta be,
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm not a permanent.
Yeah.
I don't care how
I
it
understand
reads.
what you mean, but it's
I
gonna.
don't care how it reads.
Yeah.
You know? If the taxes keep going up the way the town council, yeah, nobody's gonna wanna live in this town now.
Yeah.
I didn't do any figures this last one. You know my Christmas tree.
I know that first question wasn't a real issue in the past, I don't know why it had to be. I suppose we probably wasn't reading it right, you know? It wasn't an awful big issue, you know, on some of the variants we read it before.
Yeah, but it's showing distance.
But like you said, maybe it's, we look at it a different way now, I guess.
We never really, well, in the time I've been on this board, we only started using this. Well, when Seekins finally got things rolling, and we really had a book to go by and all that stuff, so. I think it was a lot more off the cuff back in the good old days, so.
Yeah, probably more, yeah, more.
Does anybody want to make a motion? We have to do something in order to keep the ball rolling here.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick, yes.
We can debate whether we like it or not all night long.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna change it, so.
All right.
Well, they give some examples of reasonable return standard. It's mostly legalese that.
I mean, you should have a lawyer at every one of these meetings, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes time to read all this, but. The courts have pretty much said. Reasonable return is based on. The going rates, so.
Yeah, if you don't look at the setbacks, you just look at the.
Really, it doesn't say a setback, it's not more reasonable return.
Yeah.
That's not all right.
Yeah.
But the variance is for
Or
setback, it's a setback area.
setback. Yeah. So, reasonable return, you know, that should prove the property, that's, we know that, but.
I'm all for improving property and helping the tax base to hopefully lower our taxes, but that's not gonna happen, so.
No, that ain't gonna happen. Well, you gotta, guess you can make a motion, I guess, or something.
If you want help with the wording, I don't wanna put words in anybody's mouth, but it should be along the lines of. uh. Due to, the variance should not be granted due to not meeting
A yield of reasonable return.
something along that line, yeah. I don't know, help me with some wording here, I just.
So pretty much due to the variance isn't gonna be granted due to it not meeting any of the 4 criteria that would fit granting the variance.
You have to pass all 4 of them. We have to vote in the affirmative on all 4 of them, and I mean, I'm hung up on the first one, so we don't really have to go any further as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's what I meant, that with your wording, I don't think we would wanna say due to not meeting any.
Yeah.
You're voting on the first one.
Yeah.
That the variance not be. Um. Something along the lines of the variance be denied, due to the undue hardship test. Does that sound like it covers the base? Where we have to meet all 4 requirements and. Well, first of all, I guess we need to agree, are we hung up on whether or not this is gonna affect the reasonable return on the property? No, what do you think? No, Justin, no,
Affect it in what way? Do you mean in?
a reasonable return, is
Yeah.
it gonna affect the cost or the price, the value of the property?
Well, yeah, it will.
Unreasonably,
Like they could put a structure back the same size, a newer structure.
Correct.
So them being able to do that without a variance.
You're not gonna get me on that one. You're just not. I mean, that's not the culture we live in. Everyone buys more and more and more and more every year. We live in a capitalist society. Right. It's just the world we live in. I honestly don't know how he lives in the house he lives in now. And how he stores all this stuff and that shit. Well, that's right, he doesn't, because he's got a storage unit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can really expect a person that lives in town in this day and age to live in a structure that big and only get that much for storage. I just don't see how he does it. So I think the reasonable return would come from the fact that if he went to sell a property with that same size box there to store stuff in, he'd have a hell of a time. And I think actually he'd help that to sell. I really do. I mean, if he had like a mega mansion there and he had this little box, I'd say, okay, well, it rocks, but.
And I agree with you 100%. And things may change in the near future, but you know, like me, I have to go off the rules that I'm giving and the laws that are in place.
I understand that,
But
but I see a hardship there of trying to cram a life into that little box and not having anywhere else to put stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you wanna get families to move into town, you wanna get, young couple, I mean, obviously, a nightmare in a box that big, but if someone really had to, they could, if they have space to put all the stuff.
nostalgia wise, it's gonna improve it.
Well, that's cause undue hardship if he doesn't have it, for his part.
well, the undue hardship goes away when you can build a
Yeah.
structure in the existing footprint.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 no's, 3 no's, you're a yes.
Correct.
Okay, so, we've decided that it does not meet the requirement A. So now we can go ahead and have a motion to deny the building permit. Or if you want to make a motion to accept it, you can, but you're going to be going against what we've already proclaimed.
You have to vote on your motion.
Yes, well, I need a motion.
That symbols.
I don't know why y'all look to me, I'm the one that doesn't agree with it.
Yes.
We can discuss it more after we have a motion.
So one of you two will have to, I can't do motions of any sort.
I'm gonna make a motion, we accept all four, we need a D,
That we accept. Oh,
all four.
motion has been made.
Yeah,
Mike seconds it.
I second it.
Okay. So now we can just discuss it some more. Yeah. So in our previous discussion, you said that it would not affect a reasonable return. So how can we now say that we can accept A through D when we've already voted that we won't accept A based on a reasonable return?
You do look at one, but if family's 6 kids, I mean, you ain't doing that.
No, not in one bedroom, so.
So we're not looking for anything big.
No, not every family has 6 kids. Fact of the matter is your family sizes are getting smaller.
You know,
I mean, if you got a young family that doesn't have much, moves to town, that'd be perfect for them to move in with a kid.
I mean, I'm hung up. I don't know. I think we're spinning our wheels here.
Yeah. I can only say so much.
Well,
you know, but-
I feel the direction we've headed or gone is that we're gonna be opening up the doors to the potential litigation, I guess. I mean, we've already voted on one of these 4 requirements not being met, and that's all that needs to happen in order for us to deny the appeal.
Yeah,
So I don't see how we can,
go any further.
Yes.
but a motion has been made.
Was that, I'm sorry, was that a vote you took earlier or just part of the discussion?
I think in the past, we've voted on each one of these requirements, I think.
So I wasn't here
No.
for those previous ones
Oh, do you
too.
remember, Mike, we've only done it.
One, man.
yeah, we got open.
Then we had a motion on each one.
And we have some variances and quite a few footage involved. But we passed it.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's maybe not, but it was, when it wasn't asked for a great amount of that.
Right.
When it was a minor stuff, it was allowed, it was voted on and most of the time it passed and it went up and had to be written up, and had to be taken to the, had to be for the deed be changed to something.
Right. Had to be recorded.
Had to be recorded.
Can the building be shifted a little at an angle rather than around back of the house, it can be shifted, so we get more verbiage, get more.
Yeah, you probably could, but the corner of it, I mean, you could turn it, but the corner of it's still gonna be.
Yeah. I don't know.
You never get to 20
We've
feet.
gotta move the whole thing or not at all.
I just thought where it'd been there in its existing building, it would be grandfathered, and I could put something back. As long as I didn't encroach the line any further.
Right.
That I would be able to add on to it, you know what I mean? That. Call it an addition, I mean, it's gonna save me from building another shed, I go buy a 12 by 20 shed and I find it ain't big enough. I'm gonna have to build a 10 by 10 next year. Without a permit, you know what I'm talking about? Well, can't we get this all in one building? You know, I'm not asking for,
Mm.
I'm not asking for a mile, I'm asking for 8 feet.
Yeah, you know.
You know, I could use a 32 footer, you know what I mean?
Sure. Just drop a nice comics box right there.
Well, yeah, either that or I gotta buy a trailer, one or the other.
Need a building permit for a comics box?
Yes.
Really?
Well, that's mine is a permanent structure, I wish we, I don't get that out of their head.
I don't make the rules.
All right, so look, we got a motion. Ben seconded. The motion was to. Read that back to me, to accept the 4 conditions?
Yeah.
Even though we just. Voted on one point previous to that, that we did not accept.
You didn't have a motion for that.
I don't know that we needed. Should we have motions for?
As we have, you know.
On each one of these?
Each one.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Um,
when they were in.
I had a hard time pulling a motion up for the last one,
Oh, that was a different one.
Hate to drive this on.
I know this can be done, but I think instead they can change the rules, but. In the past,
Oh, no.
especially when he doesn't want to go really closer to the line.
No.
Well, Russell, the CEO's point of, we do it for one, we gotta do it for all. Is what we better be thinking about here.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that small town, I mean, we should be able to look at each individual case and say, yeah, it makes sense, let's do it, but that's not politics, that's not how it works.
But it is how it works if you have an appeal process. That's what the appeal process is for.
It is, but then when it comes to the appeal, here we are with what we have to supposedly go by, and to me, my hands are tied, that's how I feel.
But that's how you feel, but you've got a board to take a vote, right? They may go one way, they may go the other. You find your board is voting for something that doesn't seem to meet the criteria time and time again, then it would behoove the group to go back to that or.
I think the whole problem lies with changing the ordinance. And that's not something that can happen tonight. You know, it's something that you guys are more than welcome to come to council and, you know, planning board meetings, and we're working on changing ordinances as we go. For example, we didn't have a solar ordinance for the longest time. We had to adopt that. You know, so when these guys have to go by the book, you know, and the book's not fitting, these situations aren't fitting the criteria, unfortunately, but the ordinances should be updated and, you know, go to public hearings.
You can change, you can accept.
Yes, yeah, under certain,
And we haven't.
yeah.
We hit they hit appeal it, to what, after we decide to grant it or not, right?
So at this point, my opinion really doesn't play a
No,
role in
no,
any,
so
you know.
We agreed to grant. He said everything, but it's the first one, right?
Yes.
Oh,
But you said all 4, you said all 4.
The way it's wrote, I believe the ordinance is wrote is we have to agree on all 4.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is we've already said that we don't agree on the very first one. So in my mind, that says we can't.
Well, I misunderstood how it was written, it's kind of tricky, the way it's written too, yeah, the first one usually was the easiest one, some of the other ones were a little more tricky in the past, the first one usually was the one that sailed along pretty good. I'm just going by what we used to do, I don't know, but of course, it's time to change, I know.
We've given some pretty good variances, all right.
Yeah, yeah, and it was written up and it was recorded and it was, accepted. That's what the board's for, I guess, you know, to override. That it says it's supposed to be that way, but we're here to say that in this situation here, he needs a variance.
Correct. In order to do what he wants to do, we have to grant a variance.
Yes, and we have to vote on the variance and hopefully they voted it in, and then he has to go, the next step would be to record it and so on and so forth, right?
If, I'm just wondering how this will fly if it's tested.
I probably doubt if it would be, but you know, if it does, then we'll not start taking, whatever, take the punishment, I guess.
Right, no, we approved it.
Well, I guess, I mean, we haven't been in many positions. We only meet probably every 3 or 4 years, so as you can tell, we don't, we're not sure. We met, I don't know, 8 months ago or so.
Yeah,
and that
last
was the
year.
First time since before COVID.
Yeah.
Is that because more people are asking for forgiveness and not permission?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so on this particular case, if he'd asked for forgiveness and not permission, would anyone have actually noticed?
No.
There you go.
I really doubt it, yeah.
And if you keep denying simple appeals like this, you're gonna get a lot more of that.
And then the
This
last
is what the
one,
board's
the
for.
guy had to move it.
The problem.
If somebody notices it,
Back in the 80s.
I get it, but,
you know,
I have
You know,
to
that-
look at the
you
rules.
did your job well.
You know,
You
but
did your
it's-
job, you're right, it's not where it's.
Yeah.
No, I get that, I'm not
Yeah,
casting any
no,
shade.
no, I get it, I get it.
The berries, berries go over there.
Can't toss me out of the bureau.
I think we're contradicting ourselves, I guess it's.
Well, maybe, but.
All right, so we have a motion. It's been seconded. Any more discussion?
No, we discussed going on.
I think so. So I'll ask, who's in favor all right, let's hear the motion one more time. The motion was to grant the variance
Yes.
based on acceptance of A through D.
Well, yeah, we can, like you say, we have got, you know, B through D at that.
You know, each case is different. This is a very minor one compared to what some of the ones we've had to deal with. I know it's pushing the limit, as we said, but.
Unreasonable hardship, only get another flood, right?
What's that?
Unreasonable hardship, we get another flood, right?
Right, well, yeah, the water was 4 feet in there when. When 87.
Everybody will buy that problem.
I guess those move on and then we voted on it, right? So.
I think we've hashed it around enough, but. So we're, the motion is to grant
Yes.
the variance. Those in favor, signify.
Aye.
Aye. All right, you got your variance.
Awesome. Hey, you don't have to go to, here, but you get some, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll carry on.
Yep.
Well, we went a different direction than where I thought we were headed. And this whole, yeah.
Yeah.
Same for you, Ken.
Yeah.
Stick around.
Hang around, yeah.
All right, so we'll move on, to the application for appeal submitted by the owner of the member of 134 Mason Street, map 25 lot 38, for denied building permit. A new structure that does not meet the setbacks. Do you have this in front of you,
The application,
the appeal form?
yes.
Would you read that to me? I got the first couple of sentences.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to build a new garage, a new larger garage in the place of my older garage. The larger garage is being I can't read my own. Denied because of, it's too
Being.
close. Hmm?
I think it's being, isn't it? For the
Being,
no,
being
no.
denied.
Oh,
Yeah, being denied because of the
Because of land.
land. How close it is to the property line. The new garage will not get closer to the property line, it will extend into my property.
And we have a map. All right, so we'll go through the four requirements again, if we need to. We never really actually voted on all four of them. I think we just agreed that all four of them were met.
Yeah.
Would everybody agree with that? Summation? All right, so I'll entertain a motion. A motion for a variance.
Yes.
Dave, I think you're, oh, you made the last one, all right?
Yeah, motion to, that's the variance.
Right, that we grant a variance for this structure. Second it? Anybody gonna second it?
Second.
We're trying to
Second,
get
Justin
Justin
South.
South.
We're on Mike's motion.
Okay,
I think the middle.
okay.
Seconded by Justin.
Correct.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, variance passes. All right, Caleb, you're up.
Yeah.
And your hand reading is pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't actually have on here, it's not that it matters, the appeal form, you had appeal forms,
Board of Appeals requesting for hearing.
which is different from what?
Nicole handled, oh,
So that
okay,
was a little different. not-
Yeah. yeah, that goes through the town clerk. I just,
Okay, Caleb, this garage. I know you already told us all this, but. It's a little bigger than what was there, or?
I don't really know, it was pretty falling down, so I didn't get to measure it, but it's, I can't. I can't set it closer to the house because we have a wraparound porch that's going on there. And if I move it forward, that would make the driveway pretty short. And it would interfere with the steps on the porch. Or like, there's two entrances on that side of that,
Mhm.
so.
I noticed on the dotted line, set back 15 there, but the property line is way over there.
Yeah.
You just wanted west. You know?
so I had a bigger map of this. I had to kind of downsize it. His father had given me. But it was only a 5-foot variance that they were looking for instead of meeting the 20-foot setback. It was gonna have,
No, I don't need that one, let me hear. Yeah, on here, it's got 15 foot from the garage to the dotted line, and then property line, I don't need it. Which one's that?
oh no, the property line is the dotted line.
Okay.
Yes, so this was a picture of a larger scale, so
Those are dimension lines.
yes.
The property, the thing labeled property line is dimension line for the property.
Right, the old one was 12 feet, so we're actually moving farther away from where it used to be. I just cleaned something where it was.
I'll entertain a motion. Justin, you're up.
Make a motion, we grant variance.
Second. Seconded by Mike. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. With that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Unless anybody else has anything else. Been around a lot, I mean, this is, about 40 minutes longer than what I usually take the meetings, so. Yeah, this will do it.
It's like the Oprah show. You get a variance. You get a variance.
Hold on.
Make sure that, can I build my garage now?
You
have
can.
to- You have
Well-
to see Russell, and you have to get a letter.
Yeah, you'll get a letter and then you'll get a building permit and everything, and you will be able to build your garage. So,
I just didn't know what.
yep, nope. You get a variance, you get a variance. Everybody's getting variance. Come in next week.
Oh,
Yep,
yes, thank you.
not a problem.